What is the cost of living in Mexico beyond the big cities and the touristy spots? The cost of living in Mexico changes dramatically depending on where you are, from modern metropolitan areas to towns away from the spotlight. Today, I'm sharing real numbers of daily life in Tula, Hidalgo, my hometown, one of the many towns where life unfolds at its own rhythm. After almost 8 years of living in Querétaro, one of Mexico's fastest growing cities, life took an interesting turn. A few months ago, my husband and I decided to move to my hometown, Tula, Hidalgo. It wasn't about choosing a better or worse city. It was about experiencing a new rhythm of life. But what my husband discovered and I started to remember about costs and quality of life surprised us in many ways. Today's video is about showing you the day-to-day costs in a smaller, non-touristy place like Tula. Whether you live in a big city or a town, this video might give you a different perspective on cost of living in Mexico. Let's start with something we all care about: food. And in Mexico, if you really want to understand the real cost of living, you need to go to the market. Let's go. Let me show you something interesting. See that shop behind me? It's a molino. It's where you'll find a lot of different types of seeds and the best ingredients to make your salsa recipes. I'm always picking up new recipes when I go buy something because I'm hearing the ladies speaking about how they can use the different types of chilies. And we're buying here the beans, the rice, chilies, dry chilies as well.
¿Tienen quinoa?
108.
Sí.
We tend to buy the chicken at the markets because the chicken is fresh. We are asking for 2 kilos of breast. What I like about this city, about Tula, is that they flatten the breast and without extra charge. When we used to do this in Querétaro, they charge even more to do this. The price of the chicken breast is 95 pesos a kilo, which is around $5. You remember that I used to live in Querétaro? Well, in Querétaro, they charge double than here.
¿Para cuándo la quiero parar?
If you're learning Spanish, one question that the vendor will ask you is, ¿para cuándo la quiere? When they are talking about the fruit. They're basically saying, when do you want to eat it? Because it depends on the fruit, if it's ready for today or for tomorrow, or it's just green and maybe you want to keep it until 3 days after. You don't want to eat it right now. By the way, if you're interested in these aspects of Mexican culture and want to learn Spanish too, I've created an online academy called Talking Spanish. You can learn real Mexican Spanish and culture too. If you're interested, visit my website, talkingspanish.com.
140 pesos de verdura.
We're almost finishing our shopping. We're very hungry because it's the morning. We ordered some tasty sopes and tlacoyos. What I like about the state of Hidalgo is the tlacoyos. I think they are the best. The tlacoyo has beans, and in this case, they have nopales. I also ordered a sope, which is basically a flat tortilla with salsa, in this case, eggs, lettuce, cheese, and cream. For 2 people's breakfast, it was 150 pesos, around $7.50. What we do is buying every week at the market, and we finish all that you're watching here in 1 week. We also bought some rice, beans, and some seeds, but of course, I think they last more than 1 week. But the thing that surprised me was the avocados. Usually, lately, the avocados are expensive in Mexico. Expensive, I mean $5 1 kilo, and 1 kilo is usually 4 avocados, 5 avocados. One thing that has been surprising me here in the city of Tula is that you just go to another stand and the price of the avocados is very low compared to the other stands. Now I understand my grandma when she used to go to different stands to buy vegetables. We paid 781 pesos, or in dollars it would be $37 more or less. Shopping at the market isn't just tradition. It makes a huge difference in our monthly expenses. We do about 70% of our shopping at the market, and I feel we're not alone. Just look around. Families buying their weekly groceries, people picking out fresh vegetables, and some others are comparing prices. In Mexico overall, Markets are an important part of the cost of living as it's where we'll find fresh vegetables and fruits at a reasonable cost. You can't get this kind of freshness anywhere else and only in supermarkets. Buying milk, cleaning products, and personal care is where you'll go. In Tula, we have 3 supermarkets: Bodega Aurrera, Soriana, and Tiendas 3B. Bodega Aurrera is a Mexican discount retail chain and it's owned by Walmart. Soriana is one of Mexico's largest supermarket chains, offering groceries, household items, and basic electronics. It's a step up from Bodega Aurrera in terms of variety, but still focuses on affordable prices. We also have Tiendas 3B, a Mexican discount store chain that's become very popular because they offer basic products at lower prices. Their name, 3B, comes from bueno, bonito, y barato. Good, nice, and cheap. And that's exactly what they aim for. They carry their own brands along with national brands, and they're usually cheaper than the bigger supermarkets. Let's break down this monthly. Fresh produce, meat, and eggs, 5,000 pesos, or about $250. Cleaning supplies at the supermarket, 600 pesos or $30. Personal care, 1,400 pesos. January brought our first big expense of the year, el predial. You know how every country has its own system for paying the property taxes? Well, in Mexico, we pay our property taxes every year. And if you pay in January, you get a significant discount. Here in Tula, there's a 25% if you pay in the month of January. That's why many people decide to pay in this month. I just paid my bill and I paid 5,451 pesos, or about $260. And yes, this amount seems significantly high for our area. I have some friends and family with similar sized properties and they pay much less. There seems to be a discrepancy on the system. So breaking this down comes to around $23 per month. I've tried to address this difference in the past, but if you ever dealt with administrative process, you know how these things can take time to resolve. Now, I haven't included rent in our monthly expenses because we own a home, but it's worth mentioning that housing costs can vary significantly across different cities in Mexico. Let me show you an interesting comparison. This website is showing me that here in Tula, you can find houses for rent between 4,000 pesos and 12,000 pesos, $200 to $600, depending on size and location. A typical 3-bedroom house might cost around 10,000 pesos monthly or about $500. Now I'm checking current rental lists in the city where I used to live, in Querétaro. Just a basic 1-bedroom apartment in areas away from the center starts at around 8,000 to 9,000 pesos. And if you're looking for houses, the price is double. For example, this basic apartment in Las Haciendas, Querétaro, 8,000 pesos for 58 square meters, or about $400. Meanwhile, in Tula, here's a house with 150 square meters for 12,000 pesos, or about $600. These housing costs can significantly impact your budget depending on the area where you are living. It would be very interesting to know the cost of rent depending on the area where you are living in Mexico. Now, here's something that was really important for us: internet service. Since my husband and I work from home, having internet was essential. Before moving to Tula, I tried to set up internet service with Telmex. Telmex is one of Mexico's largest internet and home services. I made multiple calls, trying to schedule an installation. They would say, "I'll go next week," but they would never go. So I knew that I needed another solution. And this is not a commercial, but we decided to try Starlink. For only 1,100 pesos, or about $55, it's definitely not the most economical option. It's actually twice of what we paid in Querétaro, and I have to say that internet in Querétaro was working really well. But when your work depends on having stable connection, sometimes you need to make these kinds of decisions. Paying the water bill. Every month we come to the office, a small office, to pay the water because there's no option to pay it online. I just paid 300 pesos or $15 for 2 months. I think it's a pretty reasonable price. If you're not from Mexico, this might look different compared to what you're used to. Here we have tanks full of gas. Here, gas trucks drive through the neighborhoods. And you can exchange your empty tanks, or if you prefer, you can refill them. We have this big one that you can see here. And we also have the smaller one. When this is done, we use the smaller one. And when they are empty, we can even call the gas truck, or they usually come almost every day, basically. So let's put these expenses together and let's see what we're really looking at. Property tax or predial, 454 pesos. In dollars, $22. Water service, 150 pesos or $9. Electricity bill, 150 pesos or $9. Internet service, 1,100 pesos or $65. Gas for cooking and showers, 150 pesos or $9. If you're watching from Mexico, I would love to know if these numbers are very similar to what you spend every month. Probably you'll have better luck with your internet provider. Maybe if you own a place, your property taxes were properly assessed from the beginning. Sometimes it means more personal interaction. Sometimes it means feeling creative with solutions. Let's talk about healthcare in Tula. We have private and public hospitals like the one that's behind me with specialists of all kinds. I visited an specialist and I paid 600 pesos or about $30. I also went to the dentist for a cleaning and I paid the same amount of money. One thing that got my attention is that the hospital is closed, even emergencies today, that it's Saturday. I'm kind of confused. Here, most cafes open from 3 p.m. until 9 or 10 at night. It's perfect for evening gatherings with friends. Dave was used to morning cafes in Querétaro, and now he's embracing our coffee culture here in Tula. Speaking of local customs, Hidalgo is very famous for its barbacoa de borrego. Lamb cooked on a hole underground. Sunday's days revolve around this tradition. The scene food here reflects both tradition and change. We have the classic taqueria serving amazing tacos, but we also have nice restaurants like this Mexico-Japanese fusion restaurant serving rolls with a spicy twist. On Wednesdays, they have a promotion of 150 pesos or around $7, $8 for 2 rolls. But overall, I would say we spend 400 pesos or about $20 for 2 people when we go for a meal. We came out to eat tacos fresas. Check out these beautiful tacos, and they cost 60 pesos each one, around $3. And I'm also having a margarita, which costs 80 pesos or about $4. This is a little expensive for being tacos, but the difference is that we are in an established place. It's not a street food stall. That's the difference. As you can see, we also have cocktails, so that's a plus. The location in Tula is perfect for weekend adventures. Weekends are perfect for what we call pueblear. And that means that we go and visit the nearby towns, walk around the plazas, eat the delicious food that the town offers, and then come back home. The hot springs in the neighborhood towns are a new thing that we have started to do, and we want to keep doing. When we feel like a change of pace, Mexico City is about 1.5 hours away from Tula, and Querétaro is about 2 hours away from Tula by car. Having these options means that we can enjoy the tranquility of daily life here, or whenever we feel like, we can just go to Querétaro and Mexico City and enjoy the amazing things that these cities offer. For example, we recently visited San Miguel de Allende in Guanajuato. A meal there would cost double of what a meal would cost here. Obviously, There are a lot of nice restaurants there. And of course, when I went there, I enjoyed the meals that they offer there. About gasoline in our car, we spent 2,000 pesos or about $100 per month. But we don't use it as much during the week. A trip to San Miguel cost us 1,000 pesos or about $50 on tolls for 226 kilometers. Let's break down our total monthly expenses then. Healthcare, 1,200 pesos or $60. And I actually put a high number here because I don't think we spend this amount of money every month. Gasoline, 2,000 pesos or $100. We have a subtotal of healthcare and transportation of 3,000 pesos and $500 or about $160. And now we have a grand total of 12,504 pesos or about $600. I haven't included restaurant expenses or weekend entertainment because these costs really depend on your lifestyle and choices. Some weekends we might stay in Tula and eat out. Other times we might visit nearby towns or cities, and of course the prices will increase. These prices can vary significantly based on what you enjoy doing and how often you like to go out. Having a car has become part of our weekend life habit. It's what allows us to go to major cities or visit nearby towns on weekends. While you can use public transportation to visit major cities, having a car has allowed us to truly enjoy what this central location offers. And living in a smaller town or city isn't about compromising. It's about finding a different rhythm. And yes, some things are simpler here. And some others might take more planning. We have a lifestyle where we can actually enjoy our days and where we can experience both a quiet lifestyle and a modern city lifestyle whenever we want. Let me know in the comments what surprised you the most about this lifestyle. And if you're living in Mexico, how does this compare in your area? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you want to know the nuances of Mexico, lifestyle, and culture. See you in the next video. Adios!